Let's go. You already know what it is. It's your man Marketing with Dom. Hey, listen, today we're going to be talking about 10x in content with artificial intelligence. And the very first thing is, this is a live. So if you're watching it, we're going to go in here. The one thing I always teach and always say when you're in the business is no one's going to promote you as much as you promote yourself. And as long as you know that you're absolutely helping people. So today we're going to talk about some products. We're going to talk about how I set it up. And we're going to talk about how to actually 10x your content with AI and like really what you need to be doing content wise to really put yourself in position to create some great content, first of all. So that's number one. Okay. So first of all, we're going to talk about how to actually use AI, create with the content, and actually build on that and what that looks like. And the very first thing I always say is that, no one's ever going to promote you as much as you promote yourself. Listen, if you do not know that, I don't care when you're watching this video, you're trying to use AI to grow it and you're building out the systems that are needed. It's really easy to outsource it too, as well, to people. I say the better your systems, the better of your processes, right? And using artificial intelligence and testing it and getting it out there, it all stems from the amazing quality of your content as well. So we're going to talk about that. So let's click here. We're live now. So we're going to take this video, share it, copy link. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Instagram, right? Built on there. We're going to go to IG. And I'm going to post the link on there. See if people come in from the story, right? Based off of that link. And so, let's get right into it. We're gonna share this. I like people coming into my lives asking questions about softwares and stuff like that. So we like to get into it. So let's get into it. Boom. Shakalaka. So let's talk about this. First of all, your ability to create content matters the most. And we're just going to get straight into a process of some 10xing some content that I'm about to put out on my YouTube channel. And I'm actually going to show you how I 10x the content, how you can 10x it in many ways. Blogs, post, Instagram post, all sorts of mixing of things to be able to bring it all back home. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring it back home. So let's bring it home. So bring it home, baby. Bring it home. So the first thing I want to talk about in this process of doing it, let's just get right into it as well. Maybe somebody will pop in, maybe they won't, but we'll get right into this, okay? So the very first thing I want to talk about when it comes to creating content and 10xing it with AI, like we're going to get straight into software, straight into how we do it, straight into how we create it, straight into how you can make it happen. You guys are going to be able to ask questions. I like the vibe. So if y'all can pop in, ask questions, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to grow your business with artificial intelligence, you're trying to max out with content. I'm telling you, this is where you want to be, okay? And giving it a thumbs up helps me get in the algorithm. Listen, I try to give as much game as possible. All the processes, all the software I use, I just give it. I just want to give, right? I want you to take it, use it. I want you to grow your business. I want you to use AI. I want you to understand it. So like that is the purpose of why I do it, because I use AI a lot because there's things I can or cannot do, and filling the gaps as an individual business owner or a growth partner, like you got to really, really understand that. And the one thing I want to tell you is like, if you follow me, if you jump on this board wagon and getting into artificial intelligence right now and understanding the simple pieces that it could do for businesses, you can start making so much money from it. And just give away advice the same way I am. Just teach it. Just teach it to people. Become the person who's teaching it. Learn it, teach it, use it. I worked for the first 3 people for free. And after that, I started to make more and more money. Now I have growth partnerships with people. Now I work with business owners in artificial intelligence. Now I'm able to do things at an absolute next level. And I want to show you that you can do the same thing. And if you're in a business right now, how to use AI to 10x the content that you create and really build your business, right? And the best thing you could do is ask questions and put into the chat, like what kind of business you're in and stuff like that. So I can tailor the message to you, right? So I can tell you exactly how you can do it based off of what I've done for clients who are doing, multiple 6 figures and millions of dollars in the marketplace by using AI and automation and doing that with their content. Okay. So first thing I want to say is get with it, right? Because we're gonna get it. Get with it because we gonna get it. Okay. So listen, so the one thing I always say is no one's gonna promote you as much as you are. So as much as I try to teach, I always believe that if you're really trying to help a bunch of people, like you should absolutely. Honestly, I've been doing it for 2 years and I call it practical learning, right? So what I learned tools, I learned how to do certain tools and then I practically implemented those into businesses. And then from there I took more time to learn how to fill more gaps. So the first thing I took was I take an AI. One of my clients needed to basically fulfill the gaps with an assistant to do certain things, and I started with setting and booking calls, like artificial intelligence, just booking calls, right? And you can find that stuff on YouTube. You can learn it, you can do it, and then do it for a business that helps them make money back. Do it for free. That's what I did to start. And they pay for all the costs, and it was like, who else is going to come in here and do that for you? And then if it can help you this much, like, why not grow? So what I would tell you is don't overcomplicate. And this is what I tell people: don't overcomplicate the power of networking and doing a certain thing and starting at one single thing, right? If you can just change, and this is what I said, if you can just increase someone's value by $2,000 to $3,000 a month in a business, that's life changing. Okay, for people to be able to adjust their business just that much. Now, how much could you charge to do it? How much do you charge to get the first 3 people? It's like the education for me was paying to do it. I'm a doer. I had to do it. I'm like, I'll pay to do it. I need to find one thing. I need to do it, and that's what I want to do. So if you could ask those kind of questions, like, what was the first thing I did? How I did it? What did I use? And then how did I make that connection? Because in AI, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, if you can do AI at a basic level and you can go out and meet people in public, like meet people, you will beat out a marketplace. You could build a business quite quickly because I'm telling you, a lot of the most savvy AI guys aren't very personable. They can't do business. That's not the same. And it's a blessing to learn some of the basics because basically I'm an AI operator. It's not like I have to learn how to, code, right? I don't have to code to use AI, right? So not knowing, it's about processes. It's like, how good is your process? I could turn someone's piece of content into 20 pieces and then 30 pieces and get them 4 or 5 more pieces of content to put out into the world is like, from things they've already done using AI. Well, then I'm a great consultant coming into the business. Now, how much do I teach them to build that process out? Because there's been people in the business who have content forever. There's been people who need to just create content and they don't have the money to, pay an editor and do all these other things. I'm like, hey, you come in house, you just learn how to do this for me. And, and I'll teach you how to do it. Right. So we're going to actually just go over those kind of things today too. Like just literally the software I use, exactly how you can do it. I'm really going to be doing a video that I already have that I created on a podcast I just jumped into to test out with my boy. And I was like, yo, let's get it done in 2 to 3 days. I have 40 or 50 pieces of content, and I'm going to show you how I used to do that. So, and so for you guys, yeah, ask any questions you want, man. Like I said, give a thumbs up, help your boy run it through the marketplace. I always ask for so let's Facebook it too. I'm gonna Facebook it. I think just dropping it on Facebook. How to implement AI. How to 10x your content using AI. How to 10x your content using AI. So we're gonna get into it. Y'all gonna comment down below. I'm in life insurance. Let's go. Absolutely. We're gonna go over that. Just because you said it, I'm gonna show you some things that you could just use. And quickness and ability to put things out is so important. And I think people over extenuate the look, the feel you have to have, and the ability to be known in the marketplace, right? To be judged, I tell you, is key to the business. All right, so let's do it like this. Okay, so you're in life insurance. Okay, first we're going to talk about this. Okay, one of the biggest things that I have with one of the clients that I work with right now, he runs Fuel Your Legacy. And Fuel Your Legacy. Let's see if I can actually just let's see if we can just find it. So he's in life insurance, right? And what we did for him is we started a podcast for him to talk to interesting people and get to know people. Because in the insurance business, like I'll tell you, the biggest thing is referral based and people getting to know you and you getting to know people. So if you're able to just pull people in by asking them questions and getting to know them and interesting people and really good referrals, right? In a year, let's say you do 2 podcasts a month for a year. There's a 24 connections where people you got to know them, they got to know you. You could possibly have a better relationship with them. You have an hour or 2 hours worth of content that can millate into 20 to 30 pieces of content, a blog post, SEO wise, a landing page, a great video, 20 pieces of video content. You could do up to 30 or 40 pieces if you set the segments up right, because you could have segments that are like 10-minute, 20-minute segments that get posted by themselves, as well as all the 1-minute clips that come out of there. And honestly, you could change your life with content like this. And with Legacy, that's what they were able to do. And so let me actually see if I can find them real quick. Actually, them on here when we're doing this. I was set up to show this process either way. But yeah, so while I'm looking for that, I'm gonna hop into this process as well. So I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna pop into this. So creating the podcast and then using AI to 10x the amount of content coming from a simple call. Because just think about how many calls you get on, with people, and the reality is you're trying to get to know them. What are their situations? Asking questions about, do they have life insurance? What are they thinking about taking care of them kids after? You can really put someone in a conversational position where they're giving just great gold. And then at the end of the day, really wanting to work with you. And now you have all this content that you can actually produce and put out. So I'm going to pop on this Instagram real quick. So yeah, let's pop into his IG actually. I can get into there. And stuff. All right, but yeah. So no, I appreciate it. And anything you need to know about, you know, talk to me about what in your process would you like to fill. So one of the biggest things for life insurance is content. If I'm right, you can hit me back in the chat, but is like getting your content out there, understanding what kind of content people want to know about, right? And building content with other professional and individuals and building that sort of relationship is important, because you don't need a million people to see your content, right? I always tell people this is like in a lot of industries, you only need a few people all the time to know what you do continuously. And you can meet really good people and market with them and have a really good sit down conversation and do that. And if you want to do that, but like we can sit down and we can talk about, that's what we can do as well. Here, we could do this because like I'm going to talk about those softwares today. Like I'm going to go over those things. But what I would say is that there's this disconnect, you know. Yeah, no, absolutely. I have information about that too. I still have top clients that work in the agency space because, I consult with the overall processes for business models and content creators. The one thing I would say for content creators is they have to understand iconism, which is being a bigger brand than whatever you're trying to sell on the back end. When you really look at those platforms that create their own podcasts and they have conversations and they build iconic brands, understanding how to be iconic, which sometimes comes with, backlash and forward lash. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. But I do have software that we're going to talk about today that you can literally just use to 10x content. There's a strategy. You got to be more specific, my man. But we do the back end marketing for incoming creators, outcoming creators, automations back end on that side for, I have real estate funds, $100 million real estate funds in the same process, using these strategies to increase their functionality on the back end. But yeah. So, Also Instagram, Fuel Your Legacy. I got him on my IG. So I'm going to show you this example directly. You know what I mean? I'm going to hook you up right now. So I'm going to show you this. That's what I'm looking for is the got you. So let's say, and he's a personal brand too. So I'm gonna pop him. I'm gonna pop up his Instagram right now. Sam. And here's what I'll tell you. Depending on what business model you're in, honestly, man, you do not need a crazy you don't need fucking millions of views. You don't even need all that. And the world tries to make you feel like you need that. You get all caught up in what kind of content you need to create. And you honestly just get lost in the space, right? So let's show you this right here. So this is my boy Sam Knickerbocker, right? He uses we call Feel Your Legacy podcast as a strategy into growing his network, right? This is what he does podcast wise to create the relationships, right? Because at the end of the day, all you're really trying to do is speed up relationships and then use that content as you doing what you actually do, right? Because usually, even if someone buys from you or not, right? You have a good conversation, usually advise them, usually give them some mentor conversations, you're usually giving them some insight, right? So look at this. So this is his strategy right here. This is what we started doing right here, which is creating these podcast snippets, right? We're trading up on the style of all sorts of brands and how we're doing it. But he shares everything he has on here, right? And now this content is going to grow whether it hits or not. Doesn't really matter, right? Because his lead gen process of getting people, getting to know them, talking about their finance, talking about what he does, talking about them, and then using that content, and then their brands are attached to this, right? You can then co-sign them and add them to your Instagram and collaborate while they're talking about their business and their life and stuff like that, and you get to use that. Yeah, no, absolutely. You guys can set up a session with me. Let's go over here. Here, I'll put it in the in the chat for you. Here you go. Or you can go to marketingwithdom.com as well, and you can set up a call there. But the link is in the bio right there. So let's get into this. All right, cool. So let's get this out of the way. Move that in there. You can set up a call. We'll chat. So let's really talk about 10xing. So a lot of times, like you guys say, the biggest problem is not actually how to use AI. It's about creating the content and getting that stuff done. And how do you do that, right? So how do you set yourself up to really put yourself in position? So we're looking at Sam, which is now he has a lead gen, right? He's so busy. He cannot release. He has podcasts all the way set up until I think to release all the way until like January of next year. If he released the way he's releasing right now, we're thinking about frequently adding more releases because he's now releasing more podcasts with his name and other co-experts on there. He's now releasing more blogs with him and those co-experts on there. He's now creating backlinks for them and himself, creating what we call digital, right? So it's like simplicity, right? He only needs for him to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000, right? Per client per year. He only needs 1 or 2 to 3 leads, right? And so what people don't understand sometimes is in the business that you're in, we get caught up in this virality, being so viral, the next top guy. Yeah, you can create lifestyle business, but that comes after building a real business, So let's go into this first of all, right? So this content gets cut up. These are what we call placements. And in content and AI that you can use, you can basically make these templates, create them there, just put the video in there, use them as short templates, and get them out of the door pretty quickly. Okay. So let's talk about turning 10xing your content. Okay. So let's say you did one interview with somebody on a live chat and you went to talk to them, whether it was just Zoom to get started. What I always say, it's better to get started, guys. It's better to get than to sit there and think like, oh, what are we going to do? I can do this. Just use what you got and get started. and then upgrade from getting started. What do I mean by that? Of course I have the softwares that I think is the best, but yes, if you have Zoom and getting someone on a Zoom call tomorrow to talk about a podcast style and recording it and just testing it and getting out there, it is way better doing that and testing the market than it is to sit around, create a strategy like, oh, what are we going to, like, oh, what is this? It's really easy to figure out questions to get to know somebody. Talk about their business, talk about their family, what's important to them, like, what's their favorite quote from who, or what's their favorite book. These things become, little snippets of real gold that are going to impact the type of people you're trying to be around and the type of people you're trying to attract. And now you have content showing that you've met with this person, that you know this person, that you've interviewed this person, which now other people see that. That's also, clout that you get. And I say clout from like relationships, automatic belief in relationships, things I see. Like, I watch Sam, I really trust in what he does. And when he looks at people or people are on his podcast, I always think about reaching out to people who are on his podcast. I always think about that because they were on Sam's podcast, right? So yeah. So that's one way to do it. The second way to do it is to do, long form speaking events, right? So the other one is to do that. So since we're going to talk about 10x in content, let's say you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Please, I beg you. It makes my life easier to teach you directly. And while I'm on here doing it, getting through that as we get through this process of what it is to all these pieces up here, all these little things up here are different AI softwares I use. And I'm going to talk about how I kind of put all those together, right? This is just a voice to text, right? If you're not the best writer, voice to text it. I promise you, we can change the game. So right now we're on YouTube, but I'm actually going to go to my YouTube channel as well, because I'm going to talk about how it wraps around, how you can get 20, 30 pieces from a single piece of content, how me just now redoing my whole brand, readjusting my strategy, and how I use AI and starting over, right? Because you have followers who follow you for a certain reason. I deleted over like 200 videos from my page and really adjusted what I was doing. And now I'm going to show you how that all kind of plays in together, and how I have clients who do 7 figures, did 7 figures in courses over the last 2 years and never had a viral video. Ran traffic to a long form educational style video and just kept building that relationship with people, because they build that with you when you actually do what I call expert content in one way or another. Do you speak on expert content? Are you a philosopher? What are your beliefs? What does that look like? Where does someone fall in love with you before they even decide to buy, necessarily what you have, right? So you got to give it all out. So that's why I give it all out. We won't give it all out. So first of all, let's look at this. Let's go into the back studio content. You're going to see that I haven't posted in a while, but you're going to see how this turn of events all works out, right? Like, I wasn't even making $1 last month. I barely had, this is all up because I literally shut everything down and basically just came from restarting, right? So my followers are going down, but my viewership is going up. My hours watched are going up. What I'm teaching about is different. And now the businesses I work with are absolutely different too. And that's over being on this platform for almost, 3 years. But I helped almost 30 people grow their YouTube channel. And I worked with multiple companies where I helped them get to multiple 6 figures just by teaching them how to use a YouTube channel. And, I always tell people, don't try to be that person you see at the top level on YouTube, because first you got to be the person that's making 100,000. Then you got to be the person making 200, 300, 400. Then you got to be the person making 7 figures. And that comes with upgrades, right? It comes with upgrades, but doing with what you have. Okay. So let's talk about this. Let's go to content. I have a couple long form pieces of content to literally show you the example of how it works and like how I'm doing it at the level where, I'm at now, just like recreating it from the level it was at before. I built a multi 6-figure business with a webcam. So I'm going to, when I tell you this, please don't believe that I'm just talking out of my ass. I built my first multi 6-figure business from a webcam. Now I have an AI webcam like that does 4K, but listen, before that I was literally shooting off at 1080p. I think I should keep it around for just to show you like, yo, I built it in the white room, just getting on YouTube, talking about what I know and trying to help a niche out. And as I developed in my business, I started to fall more in love with softwares and systems like I do. And that's how I ended up getting into AI. And I was like, I was just going to help some businesses out. All right, so let's talk about two long form pieces of content. One, I have a panel. So the two things I think you should do is one, you should start a podcast or you should start talking to people via podcast while just the same way interviewing, getting to know people that you really want to work with. Getting to know people you really want to work with, and then creating that type of content that you can then put out using artificial intelligence that comes with some value because you ask some valuable questions. You know what I mean? Like if you're selling insurance, the best people to get your best insurance policy are the people who are making the most money, right? You want to have a major insurance policy. You know what I mean? You want them to really protect themselves. So putting them on a strategy like a podcast or your own type of platform where you're videoing and getting to know them, rather than trying to pull them into a sales call. Just think about that first call or that first meeting you have to have with somebody in person and you're out and about. I'm like, hey, I would love to interview you on my podcast. I'd love to talk about what you do. You're a very interesting person, right? Because now you're going to be able to take them, grab some content, create that business for you and them. You know what I'm saying? Like you're creating that business for you and them. And then you get to use AI to do something that it would have took an army of editors to do about 3 years ago. Would have took an army. Okay. So let's go with the panel first. So I get to speak on a panel, right? Like I said, the first thing you should pay for if you're in a brand or a business and you're trying to get here and you're trying to speed up your process is literally like get on a panel, speak on a call. You know what I mean? Really just get to it. Like I run a team right now with Travis Brady, who we help speakers get on the stage and they sell the tickets, but they get to become speakers and they get to then speak about their situation, get their video, use that as a major piece of their business. And all right, so I'm getting the ad revenue. You're probably in and out right now. So this is the panel I'm on right here. So let's look at this, and this is a strategy, long form panel. It's about 45 minutes long, right? As of all of us talking, and we get to take clips from the actual, business model. Now, the way that I do that is from a couple different places, right? Like I use Opus Clip, right? Why I use Opus Clip while I'm getting long form content, that just makes sense to be able to do so. I use Riverside, which is my other one, and I use Blayar. Between these three platforms right here, right? Between these three platforms right here, I can make about 100 pieces of content. Easy. Easy. Now, when you're looking at content from either people who are on your list, who are not on your list, what does that look like? And from here, you could really look at the kind of content that it can just create and preview for you. So, so the cool thing about, and here's one thing I'll tell you about Opus Clip and understanding why you use certain AI, right? Like this, I sat down with my boy. I swear, I want you to think about this. This is what I hope resonates with you. If you watch this podcast, we don't have a name for it. In the video, the long form video that I'm going to drop in this podcast that you're looking at right now, look at this. That I think I tagged over here. Let's look at this one instead, right? Right. We actually in the video talk about how we don't have a title. We just decided to shotgun it because we know the reality. My boy's in media, I'm in marketing, and he was just like, "Yo, I'm trying to build a brand too. Let's shotgun it." Right? Power of relationships, baby. Power of relationships. And when I say quality video shooting, quality relationship. He understood he needed a personal brand. I needed a personal brand. We shot the video. Bam, we shot the video, right? Now we're shooting the video. And look at this. Now I have from that video, which was longer than the panel, it took out 34 pieces of content just from in here. Okay, so now that's almost a month. That's at least one video a day. That's from 1.5 hours of a podcast. That's for 1.5 hours of a podcast. Now, the power part about that is you can actually clip it, extend the video length. You can turn the actual the way that it's, let's see if I have one on here. Yeah, you can change the size of it, how it's sized up, right? Where you're gonna put it. You can change it to I think one-on-one or the direct, and you can put it in different places. Right. I put this one in different places because there'll be a clip that's going to also post on my YouTube channel from the main long video. And this video is only 2 minutes long. And that video is supposed to peel back to the major video. Right. So it wraps back inside of each other. So it's like you can then create content optimization at a highest level if you use AI to be able to do that. Now I use Riverside for a couple other reasons, and we'll talk about Riverside, which is also an AI platform. This is where I record a lot of my content, and if I don't record it here, right, like that podcast, I download it into here, right? And I'm going to show you why. So I can generate mini clips, which is right here, clips that I get to kind of decide, right, what I want to do. I can automate it, or I can choose all under 30 seconds. I can do all under a minute long. I can choose what I want for that. And basically, since there's only one speaker that it's showing at a time, because me and him were flipping cameras on that, we weren't on the camera. It would say who's speaking and it would put it here, but it's automated because there's only one person in the camera at a time, just so you know that. But it would tell you, you can even say things you highlighted that you think that you want to talk about, ideas, you can tap it in there and then you can just generate and it pops up like this, right? Right. And it just gives you all these other videos. So now I have all those in Opus plus all these other ones that are guaranteed under a minute long over here, and I have the other one in Opus. Sometimes I put it to do like 5-minute, 10-minute clips so I can get like 4 of those, and they're just clipping these major pieces in Opus, which will allow you to put out all of this content. Now, what I realize is people are shockingly more into long form than we maybe even led to believe, and that we're into deep conversation and really getting to know people, because business is really a relationship business, and you have to use AI to 10x that relationship or what you're able to do for somebody. Now, why does it 10x the relationship for me, right? Me and this guy, right? He's an editor. He's a media guy. He's in the space of editing. And now because I use AI and stuff like that, I was able to get almost 30 clips like this. This is 40 all collectively if you look at these as well. Right? So these are like 40 clips I got. Bam, 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 bam. And the one thing I learned is by watching them, and then you can edit them directly in this AI. Like, look at this. And you can edit them by words like descriptively and stuff like that. You can make it happen. Yeah, so if you guys are still watching, comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking, which, questions. I can keep going over the software. But the theory is that you have to understand not how to try to change everything you're doing, but to understand how to implement AI and media into your business to 10x your output. Right? You got to be able to 10x your output. And so for even a person who's like, I got money, I need to grow a network, you go out to networking groups, right? You can do that easily. You talk to people. You, instead of setting up, hey, I want to follow up, you get them on your freaking podcast and you talk to them. You ask them questions, you get to know them. And then guess what? Look at this. This is a simple. You can actually record it right here in this software. You can actually record it right in the software, right? I showed you one that I didn't record in the software, but I have a bunch that I recorded in the software. So let's look at one that I recorded in this software. Let's see. These are created in here, right? So I talked to a real estate guy for 40 minutes, right? About our network and our brotherhood, and I was able to receive all of this content out of it just by, having a conversation with him. So you got to really think about how many people do you need to really change your life? I think people get so caught up in looking like the viral sensations of the world, right? It's cool to go viral. It's cool that, these are going to help you set up. But the reality is most businesses don't need 1 million new customers. They need a couple hundred, and if that will life changing, like, let me know, my man, if you had 100 more customers by the end of the year, right? You did 24 interviews, maybe more. You dropped one every week. So you did like 50. And you took that content and you put it over social media, right? If you talking to these people, giving them advice, talking about what you do, talking about the stories of lives that you changed when someone got insurance, or, the struggle of getting started in business and bringing everything you have to the insurance business, being authentic, people getting to know you. And then once somebody meets you in person and they go follow up on your Instagram and they see what you're doing and you're talking to people and you're giving great advice, well, then that's where your expertise comes in. And on YouTube, that's like hella staying power. Right? And what I mean by that is, like, we have videos from 4 years that still get 1 or 2 videos a day. And we get really good conversions on that. Why? Because most people have to search it and look for it. And if they found it and they watched it and it was what they were looking for, that's the customer I'm looking for. So now we're going to talk about another content. This is a piece of content. This is why I don't use ChatGPT, because I like Blazor AI. When it comes to doing multiple pieces of content, you can upload a video. So I'm going to show you how I do it, but you can click here. You can upload the podcast, right? The podcast, the hard form video, whatever you have in here, and it will transcript it all. And then it will interpret it and spit out more content. So let's go with when I just did YouTube notes. So I only did like 3 assets, I think, in here. Let's see. So I did 3 or 4 assets in here. So one of the videos that I'm dropping on YouTube, I took that, I dropped it in here, and I wanted to get a couple things to attach as a marketing tool to that podcast. Right. So I attached to it as a marketing tool to that podcast. And what it does is, like, I want a newsletter to send out to everybody for this podcast that I did. Right. So this is for one of theirs. But this is basically talking about all the things that they highlighted in the video as a newsletter to go out, No Investor Journey for Desi Arnaz, transferring insight from, this is just updates. And then you'll add the video to here and you'll send it to the people. So if they want to watch the long form, or if they just want, an updated newsletter from the video, cool. And then attach it to what? A blog, Let's see, we got it over here. Okay, because you can add some more sources from that clip, right? So let's go back here. So, and so that's the powerful part of being able to duplicate the content. Now I have a newsletter. Let's say I want a warm outbound, right? I'm reaching out to people to tell them they should watch this video. Enthusiasm, financial, freedom, highlight community and support, right? Talking about outreaching, why they should come to me, right? The same video, but totally different perspectives in the marketing category, because it's about outbound it, getting people into what we're doing. It's about getting them to commit to what they got from that video, from that podcast, to why someone should do it. Like a warm outbound, if I just wanted to reach out to someone and necessarily get them to watch the podcast in a friendly way. I believe the podcast was amazing. I believe they should enjoy it. I believe these are the highlights they have from it. Why? Because that's purposeful. It's driven in that purpose. And then you send this out to your email list or to people, right? Like, so, a few people you want to maybe watch that long form video. You thought it was an amazing video. You want to warm them up to what you do and who you are without having to get on a call with them necessarily. They get to watch a video of you, and that builds a relationship more than you think. And then you see them in person and they were like, oh, you sent me this video. And, I got a chance to watch it and that was amazing. Cool. You create relationships by just continuously giving back in return. Right. So, and that's what I'm doing right now, which is like, just telling you how it works, telling you how I come into a business. I consult with businesses. I teach them the software, or my team runs the software for them, and we put them in position to be able to scale their business, right? Using automation and AI. That's what I do. And so these are tools that we use, right? So these are tools that we use, and this is why I'm showing you this. So it's, I'm not hiding in being like, oh, we're going to teach you how I turn 30,000, just join me. No, here's how I do it. This is how I turn a piece of content into 15, 20 pieces of content. And I said 10x, but technically if it's one piece of content, I'm over here 40, 50xing, honestly, because I can get 20, 30 videos from this one long video, different perspectives. And you think people care about, here's one thing I always realize is like people like sometimes I get content that's kind of similar from both platforms, and one may hit and the other one may not. And people get afraid to posting content that's like too similar because they don't post frequently enough. They're so worried about how much they post or what they do. They don't even post frequently enough to what I call create an impact in the space. And so here's one thing I want you to think about too. These platforms need more content. These platforms want more content. These platforms pay people to get more views and post content that makes a lot of people watch it. They do that. But also, if people are watching your videos and liking it, and they like to do it, you are also going to benefit in return by just giving value. Is there anybody else in here who has a certain business model? Is there any other questions you have about the insurance business as well? I'm going to show you something too as well. Let's show you this. So I use Expert Marketly for the website development and stuff for all the things that we do. So I'm going to let's pull that over real quick. So let's get in here. Let's talk about the software overall and show you kind of the power of what you could do with AI. Right, like I do follow up and AI automation and stuff like that. Sometimes I show real things. If you guys are watching my videos, I show you real things. If you're bored, let me know things you want to talk about. Anything you want to be able to do on that side, let your boy know we out here. You know what I'm saying? So, um, mm, 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 mm. I have a lot of different companies in here. Let's look. Let's play in my own backyard because I have a bunch of AI stuff in here. So now let's talk about AI with speed, right? So this is the stuff I use. I'm literally going to show you my back office. So, don't judge me. Where we get all our leads from in our system can be showing people's personal information. Let's get to sites, right? So this is my AI system. This is what I use, Expert Market Lead. So if you guys are ever thinking about building sites and you want to get into having AI completely attached to that process, other softwares are starting to try to get it, but honestly, you have to also understand how to use it to your advantage, and they have to try to make it dummy proof. I'm going to try to make it business legitimate, which is like your business more than anybody else. So first thing is, right, when you get a site, so these are all our sites. I build hella sites, right? We build things all the time because speed is efficiency. I'm telling you, it's efficiency. Um, the very first thing is like, right, you need a website or a funnel, right? A basic template. I always say use it and make the relationship easy between you and the people you're talking to, right? Like I said, that's why I was like, hey, you guys can set up a call and just chat with me. And all I'll do is just give you more game, tell you what to do if you want to do it yourself. That's what I'll do. I'll give you everything you need, right? Because at the end of the day, I can record it. We could talk about it. I give you everything you need. You either implement it and take yourself responsibility, or you work with me to help you take responsibility. That's okay. But I win either way because I can give away all this extreme value. I know how it can impact your business. I understand that instead of hiring 3 people, you could do it for a fraction of the price and get 10x of all the things you're doing, especially when it comes to content creation, understanding how to change people's lives. Like it's cake money on that side. So let's talk about this. First of all, we just released the AI beta final, baby. First of all, just want to let y'all know that. So let's say, what industry are you in? You said you are in the, I think he's the only one that was still watching. So if he's still in here, in the life insurance. So let's say life. So your life insurance agency. Oh, so life insurance agency. Let's say, bam, you're a life insurance agency. Do you have a name for your agency? Yeah, let me know. What's your name for your agency? What's the name of your agency? I'm about to put it in right here. We're gonna make it happen right here. All right, bam. So bam, boom. So you put your name in there, name your business. And then we're gonna go to here. So we're gonna talk about it, right? So what is the purpose? This is things that AI makes easy. This software, I'm telling you, you can get it from me. This is just next level. So it's about speed. Like, just imagine how fast you can go out there, right? So you can get your purpose. So you try to get more appointments, you're trying to showcase your service, you're trying to sell more products or services. Most of the time, you're trying to get on the phone with somebody, so you kind of want appointments, right? If you want to switch it up to podcasting, but if you want to generate more leads, depends on if you understand what that looks like, right? Do you have a lead gen, right? So we're gonna say we're gonna get more appointments here. Bam. What do you want it to be? Gonna do more than one? Just has to be one. All right, cool. So let's say we want to make it friendly, conversational, humorous. Let's say persuasive, right? Because reality is you want them to be able to do that. So we're going to generate from here. And always say, just imagine if you had ideas and you wanted to put a business idea out for your strategy or your business to try something out. Most people have to go through 1,000 people. They have to talk to 1 million people to figure out the best way to do it. I'm like, just do it in a small circle till you make $1 million. Right? You don't need 1 million clients. It's so true. You don't need 1 million clients to change your life. Every business owner I've ever worked with, depending on what kind of product you're selling, unless you're like an e-commerce store. And even then, there's TikTok Shop at this point. There's an ability to get content creators at the easiest manner possible at this point in time. So we're actually just just generating content right now, which is kind of cool, right? So it's generating content, putting it the niche, looking at how you want to talk to someone, putting that in perspective, and it's gonna be able to build out the basics for you. Okay. Just spit it out. So for me, I always say, depending on what your niche or your name is, being able to just spit out content, all this stuff is interchangeable. Image is interchangeable. You can exchange it. Everything's movable, but that's crazy to start from zero and just have that, right? Now, now for me, it always comes down to speed, efficiency, and output. Most people have nowhere near enough output. Nowhere near enough output. They sit, and I always, what Travis, what we and him talk about, which is like, what would you do if you weren't afraid of judgment? What people are gonna think about you? Right? You gotta attach yourself to a stronger why. I think that people sometimes don't understand, which is like, I'm trying to change. If it's not financial, it's like I'm trying to show my kids that there's more out there when you protect yourself and you feel comfortable moving freely, and when you feel comfortable that your family's going to be taken care of, how that feels to be a dope entrepreneur and go, take care of things, because you know that, if something did go wrong, you're insured. If you're the main source of your business, getting insurance that covers you as the main source in your business coverage, understanding that, getting people, solving solutions, getting it for the persons. But most things are referral based. Most things are getting referred by people, and because they were referred, people are trusted. And so you got to really understand how to increase that network digitally as well. Most of the money is not with the people who are right. Like, yeah, there's media money and like the streamers and the viral people. Yeah, but if you're not a media business, you don't need a million people looking at you, right? Just 1,000 loyal fucking customers can make you a millionaire. Okay. Depending on what you're selling. And we have to get that understanding, and if you guys really need help, like I said, you guys can set up a call with me. We can chat about AI, and I can make you a plan, directly in your business and what you're doing. And AI and stuff like this, using my software to grow your business, like, always appreciative to get more people in it. So if you ever wanted to get into Expert Market Lead, just hit me up. You can set up a session. Uh, for the basic, just running the software, which it has a tremendous amount of things in here. One thing I will tell you is that when you are using 10 softwares and you're trying to build a business and you get overwhelmed with technology, I always say get overwhelmed in one place. Get overwhelmed in one place. Don't get overwhelmed in 1,000 places, because that shit is crazy. Right? You need a place for your webinar, a place for your store, you need a place for your blog, you need a place for your client portal. Nah, we do all that in one place. Right? And the way that works is like from there, we're able to do output of content, right? So, having all the pages you need to be able to add, like let's say that you're a one-man team and you want to be able to get content out all of these places. You can now get content out into all these fucking places with one piece of content. Imagine every 30, 50 pieces you created, you dropped one of those on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right? And we're able to create an Instagram post based off of that highlight for them to be able to get into the link. We're able to build, a Pinterest photo to tag with your link for someone to find you, post on the YouTube video. Like, that's what we call distribution, right? You create the video, it takes you the same day to get at least 5 or 10 small clips. And then in that same day, you can drop them on these YouTube video channels and actually put them out there ready to go. All in one day. And if you do a long, interesting, and you clip it up the way you need to, I always say just do it first, right? Interview someone, go to ChatGPT, top 10 interview and questions you need to make the content impactful, right? What you ask, right, is really what determines what you're able to do. So yeah, we out here, dog. We out here. Absolutely. If there's any other questions, y'all could ask away. Listen, first of all, social media is so funny because we always get caught up in trying to figure out how to create content that people like. But the reality is you just need to create content that actually helps people. And so for you, you need some Blazor AI. Write that down if you need it. Because that's the reality. It's got to be realistic. A lot of times, when we shoot for unrealistic, we run for the stars. I'm not saying you shouldn't be unrealistic, right? But your unrealistic goal that you have, right? Because I have an unrealistic goal in my head. I think it's unrealistic that I'm chasing. But in there is like tangible steps towards that. What's my first year look like? Does it look like no webcam? Does it look like just straight talking to people on just like a webcam, expressing that, taking the audio, turning it into podcast, spreading my message, trying to help more people make more money, talking about stories, do's or don'ts? And you just got to really simplify the process for yourself and then use yourself every time to grow, right? Instead of having to hire an SEO team and all those other kind of things, like, yeah, people hire me to do those things. And I always try to teach people you can do it yourself first, right? Of course and this is why you hire people. You hire someone to look over something, right? And to make sure it's more looked over than when you did it by yourself and more efficient than when you're doing it by yourself. And the thing I always say is that people create content and they worry about the grammar and the things that don't matter so much that they never even get the content out. It's like you never even get a chance to be judged. It's like you never get a chance to be judged. If you never get a chance to be judged, you never get a chance to be loved. You never get a chance for someone to be like, yo, absolutely love what you do, right? You never get a chance to do that. So let's look if there's a piece of, I think there's one I want to show you for an example. I think I have like a bunch of content in there, right? So let's look at all the pieces of content that I created for it. I think it was this one. So look at this. This was another video, right? And I wanted to basically send out emails and stuff like that. And this is all the content that it created within this folder from this video. And they're all set differently, which is important, which is absolutely important, which is understanding that imagine you could have a marketing team, right? And even for me, like our lowest package to come and implement with a team, a small team, is $500 a month. But we can do a really good system of output in the media space that typically you would charge, some marketing company would charge you $2,000 to $3,000. But because we outsource and use AI, the skills needed for each professional is different, right? First, we're outsourcing it from another country so that they can do the basic work. Cool, we're going to help you set up podcasts and do those things, use the AI, and then we're going to use the system to make our job a lot easier too, and therefore prices drop dramatically. And now you're 10x in content in a manner in which you were not producing. And I always ask people, can one customer a month change a $500 starting process? And then to really learn how to grow from there, could that happen? I think so. But most people are so afraid because and I'll realize this is once you pay, you have to take action. And then so you kind of force salespeople to convince you you're good enough. Like I tell people when I finally get in a room with somebody, I hope I don't need to convince them who I am. If they don't know who I am by then, I haven't already done a good enough job. I haven't spoken about what I do enough. I haven't expressed what I do. So when someone's in a room with me, right, we can talk about anything and they already know what I do. And if they're interested in what I do, then they'll ask questions about it. And then I can talk to them about what I do. And then I say, how can I help you? Can I pop you in on a podcast? Can I get you, a speaker position to be able to do this? Do you need to grow your media? Because you can't use AI without creating the content, So and creating the content seems to be the biggest overlay for people, right? And now I get to work with more successful people as well, because if they do have the content and they just need AI to put themselves in position, cool. And the easiest way to create that is by doing a podcast style, talking directly to your customer and literally just shooting a podcast with them and trying to talk to interesting people, the kind of people you want to work with, Rather than, imagine this, you get to go out to networking events, really get to know people, and then invite someone to your podcast that you find very, very interesting. And you get to talk to them about them, themselves, their business, what they're doing, all these things, getting to know them, and then talking about what you do, giving advice, having those kind of conversations, then using AI to make what used to take a team of editors to do in literally 2 to 3 hours. And you get, the better you get at that. Listen, this is what I tell people. People are so worried about being good at that. No, just do that. It's like you already have to do that. It's like a requirement of your business is to basically interview people and then give them advice and then hopefully sell them in the relationship because they think you're a good person. It's in every sales book and anything you've ever read. People buy from people. They don't buy from the system. Go to real estate events. Real estate people are investing money, and they need money and they have capital to invest. And you're like, yo, you should invest in life insurance. Cool. You want it, like, that's what it comes down to. And the crazy part is the internet convinces us that just sitting behind the computer can make us rich. When in reality, yeah, some people got rich just sitting behind a computer, but it's so rare that you should think about human connection as the quickest way to make a connection. This quickest way to pipe somebody up, give them an opportunity, share a piece of content that they got to share on your platform with their face on there and have it shared on their platform. Because why? Most other people are also really bad at creating content and talking about themselves and what they do and their story and their why. It's pretty common. Like public speaking is pretty common. It's pretty hard to do. It's not as easy as you think. And sometimes you don't understand that. And then sometimes you're not willing to get over that hump to get to the money. You want to 10x your content, you got to create it. You want to 10x it in a short amount of time, you got to interview people. And you want to interview people, what is that? The basic process of getting to know people. What is that? 90% of sales. 90% of sales is the introduction, getting to know the person, do they trust or love you, and getting them to work with you. And you got to create content off of that. That's it. You got to create content off of that. And if you don't create content off of that, you put yourself in a bind because you feel like you're wasting time. Social media can get you more clients, right? You know that for a fact. One of my clients, Sammy, just started charging. He went from free podcast for like 4 months, killing it. And then he's like, no, I need to charge $50 now. I'm getting these edited. They're going out, right? Like, and then he was like, I don't know if people are going to pay it. He did it. No questions asked. People just paid it. Why? Because other people suck at it. So if you could just master a simple skill of just getting on camera and getting to know your customer, the same thing you already have to do in the life insurance business, the same thing you have to do in the marketing business, the same thing you have to do when you're trying to sell contracts of any sort, the same thing you're trying to do when you're trying to network with people. You have to create relationships. And then you use AI to 10x that content, baby. Look at this. Look at this one piece of content. It just spills me out all this stuff, right? That I wanted from the piece of content. A nurturing sequence, a landing page, a one pager. We call it like a one pager. What came out of this one pager? We call it a one pager. All right. So this is all about our programs. Outsource, one hitter, one pager is what we call it. It's like a marketing tactic. What came out of that piece of content? You use that for places. Right? So let's say you had a piece of content and you're not the best writer, but you can sit and talk about your business for a while and what you want to do. And you want to, kind of scribble some points on there. Let's see what we did over. I think we have one over here somewhere. A landing page, right? So you want to talk about your business, why they should work with you and stuff like that. Bam. And then bam, you can get a landing page to get produced from what you said. If you're a writer or whether you're just a talker, you don't want to get in front of camera. Like I said, use this. Where's it at? Use this software right here. It's called speech-to-texter.com. It's free. I go in here all the time. I say things in here. I talk about things. And then it automatically, guess what? It records it. And then I take those words and I put it somewhere else. Maybe I go to ChatGPT, edit this up, make it more grammarly correct. increase on the thoughts that I have here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't overcomplicate your process trying to do too much. That's what people do. They try to overcomplicate their process by trying to do too much. But the reality is, you need to do more with what you already have. You need to take the tools you have. You need to stop living in the space where you're like, I don't have the tools. Yes, you absolutely have the tools. You absolutely have the tools. Just go take action. Like I said, this podcast right here, like I'm not playing when I say this to you guys. When it comes down to being motivated to take action, if you really want to implement AI into your process, set up a call with me. That works. We can go over it. If you want to keep learning, subscribe to my channel, jump on the ride because I'll be teaching more and more every single day. I'm gonna probably go live every day trying to, because if I can just help more business owners and more people in their sales business automate their process without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can 10x what you already are. And that's why I get paid to use AI, because typically it would take $10,000 of systems to get people to do the job that AI can do for you. And that's the sad part about the new world. You're also competing with that with the biggest guys out there. They're using these platforms, right? So you're now still competing with these guys who are creating major content. You got to compete in some manner in your little hood, in your game called local fame, right? I always tell people you shouldn't run ads about yourself and what you do in your local area, like on Instagram. It's like getting more views, getting more impressions. You want to be locally famous. I always say that. You want to see somebody and they be like, I think I know you. You feel familiar to me already? I've seen your ads like 100 times. I think I know you. Yes. It's not hard to spend $5 or $10 a day, or $100 a month on becoming a little bit locally famous. Running ads right in your local area. People seeing your face at the supermarket, seeing your face at night before they go to sleep. They starting to know who you are. That's the power of it. That's the power of it. So, anybody else have any other questions? You guys want to learn something? We can chat. We can get into some more things. But the thing I'll tell you is that, like, look at this guy. Let's see. I think we've already have it. I think I have it up already. So I haven't played it yet, but the video's like 100 and what is this? 1 hour and 15 minutes. I was about to say 100 minutes. Close. It's not close yet. And then you're taking these softwares, but like, look at this, right? So I have this one. When you click in here, you can actually do a few things that I think is amazing, right? I think if I have it set up, I think it's the top one. So besides that, right? So see, I'm going to be posting the video on YouTube and all this other kind of stuff right here. So I can go here. Let's go to YouTube. Okay. So you see how it already has all of this right here. This is SEO purpose, right? For me and my brand to know it, the words that we're going to be using and talking about, right? The problems, right? We call it solve problems here, right? How to educate, right? Let's go with entertainment. I want to put entertainment on here. Well, it was entertainment, so I guess that's what it'll be. So it takes away because it's entertainment purposes, right? So we want to look at people who are there to entertain on our podcast. But when you switch categories, you can do like how to and stuff like that. Then you can talk about how to and style, right? Then you get to add a few other things. Education, you get to add the problems, what they're going to teach. So if you're really coming from the purpose of teaching people, right? So if you ask people questions like, if you were going to teach somebody or talk to your younger self, what would you tell your 20-year-old version of where you're at from your business now, right? Like understanding that. But now, once this is done, right, it's going to show me this. It's going to give me the keywords, what we're actually talking about. And listen, I use all of these things for a couple different reasons. Okay. Takeaways, titles, opportunity. This is Sergio's, right? So this is the video with me and the other client talking about marketing and in real estate, and these are the clips that it takes. Soundbite. Trust your base. You have to build trust with people People have to know you do what you say you're going to do, right? So imagine if I went on here and I shot a video and I was like, and this is what most people do is like, hey, you want to use the best AI in the game, and then click here and do it, and then you go there and you watch the video and they show you, but do they? How do they use it? I'm gonna show you how I use it. Okay, right? Summary of the video, being able to take in chapters, dynamic of what we're talking about, leveraging CRM in your for your personal brand, right? All these things are powerful positions in understanding what we're talking about, how someone else can learn from watching it. And if we get one or two people who end up watching the video because they're interested, that's a game changer for people. I think people don't understand that. I'm located in Arizona. Yeah, where it's hot it's hot out here, man. I'm in AZ, baby. AZ. Out here in AZ. Yeah, out here in Phoenix, Arizona, just doing my thing, trying to grow, trying to grow to the next level, trying to get to that multi 7-figure business. And in that process, one of my clients was like, "Why don't you go back to just really teaching everything that you do?" And I was like, "You know what? I should just give it all away. I should just give it all away, dog." I have a couple events I'll be speaking at too. So if you want to pop up and come see me speak at an event or come out into the city to come learn some more, I have an event that I'll be at that Andy Elliott will be at in January in Arizona. So if you want to pop in, learn more about AI and, you know, building a brand and business with that, pull up. Yeah, I gotta come out there, man. Shit, and if you can't afford it, then you definitely need to be talking to me so we can get you to that money so you can slide through. So you can slide through, build that little local fame for yourself. I told you, get 100 customers in your local area. Slide through. All right, so let's look at it. Look at it. So if you guys are watching the video, you enjoy the content, pull up, comment, get the game going. No, I'm having a great time. Like, who else wants to pop on? I may stay on here for about another hour just to give some love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just to give some love, man. I appreciate everybody who follows. If you have any questions, right? If you have any questions, ask now. If you have any things you want to talk about, anything you need right now, I might as well just give you whatever you need right now, you know. Right? Like I work for companies pay me thousands of dollars to work for them and tell them what to do, and I'm giving you all the lessons I've learned through the process, through all the failures, through the terrible softwares, to the perfect AI, to the worst AI to ever try. I've tried it all, baby. I've tried it all. And I'm here to give you all the game because I'm addicted to trying software, using it, seeing if it's working, and adjust it. But there's one thing I always say is that sometimes it's how you use the software. You got to be purpose driven. So for me, I use Expert Marketly, and my clients use it because purposefully, um, it just changes the game for your business and capabilities. Like whatever software you're using to your CRM, man, it should honestly change your business model. Honestly, it should change the way you do business. It should never. Yeah, I'm still live. I'm gonna try to bring some people in from my Instagram right now too. I want a couple other ideas. From stars and bright, you'll see a forever fly. See we love, you're the one to fight. The one who gave their life, and you don't have to sacrifice. Boom, that song's hit. I'm sorry. Please don't block me, internet. Don't, you know what I mean? I don't have rights to that song, and I'm pretty sure you know that wasn't him. So no joke right now. Listen, these guys on the live with me are asking some good questions about how to 10x your content, how to create that content, how to use AI to get it to the next level, and realizing like how many customers do you actually need to change your business model? Do you need to be chasing virality? If you don't, stop on my live right now. I'm still live. If not, watch the replay depending on when you see this video. Let's go. joke right now. Listen, these guys on the live with me are asking some good questions about how to 10x your content. So look at that, right? So no one's going to promote yourself as much as you. And I always say, when you're changing people's lives, bring them in there, have a real conversation. Do you need to be chasing viability? If you don't, stop. So what does that look like for you as an insurance? How do you get leads now, my man? You're still locked in a position. How do you get leads right now? What is your process to get leads? What can you do every day that could get you some more leads? What's that look like? What's that look like for you? So now, in perspective, like we took one piece of content and was able to turn it into 20 pieces of content, right? Like sometimes people say, like, "Oh, what? How do you do that?" The reality is, you can create massive content. That's wild. I like it. Are they great leads? Shit, if it's profitable, run it up. Run it up. And part of that is like, how do you keep the leads in your system and keep them warm and stuff like that? Let's go. Hell yeah. Let's go. And listen, if it's really good leads, I always say, know your budget, pay that scrubs. And on the back end, I look at content as like that long term relationship from that person, right? So if you end up calling them and they don't end up purchasing, but they follow you on Instagram or you follow them, you build a connection with them. And then it's like, how do they how do they stay with you? How do they know what you're doing? You know, that they were on a call with you one time. That's how sometimes I remember some people I talked about business like 6 months ago, and they pop up on my feed one day. I was like, oh man, I was supposed to be talking to this guy about this. And I click on it and go in there. And sometimes that's really what you need, which is that, being seen 9 times, to get into your business model. So 10xing this content, right? I used that one piece of content and I was able to create one. Let's go over here. Let's get out of Brotherhood and let's go to. Right. And, people seeing you that you're doing it consistently and, changing more people's lives. And, maybe you have some testimonials. Maybe you bring someone who's already got life insurance from you onto a podcast and you have them talk about their experience working with you, what they liked, right? Your number one testimonial in life will always come from other people, praising you in one way or another, being like, yo, I really, really fuck with what you did, you know? And even if it's not in the insurance business, even if you have other businesses you really help people out and then you got them on a podcast to talk about it and you ask them what is their experience working with you so far and any endeavors we've been a part of, right? That's still better to someone to tell you, how good of a person you are and the business that you were in before that you murked it. And then, being able to use that content to put out to multiple places. I think the biggest people who have a lot of opportunity in this space and really understanding the few can do a lot. I think insurance agency, I think real estate agencies, I think any sort of investor who's trying to get people to come in and, give them capital, understanding what that looks like. I think that there's a lot of, missing links because people think they have to use a million different pieces of AI. Right. And you really don't, right? You just have to know which ones to use and then get the right person to help you use it. And you can 10x your business and your content. Because like I said, if you really know who you're selling to, what you're trying to get them accomplished, are you trying to go viral and you're trying to get clickbait? Or are you trying to build a business? Right. And you're trying to create the content you need to build that business. And that's usually the most important part. And it's always left out. But how do you make it simple for yourself? How do you not get overwhelmed and try to build a whole new project for Legion? To make people come to you, you got to get iconic. You got to share your goals. You got to be willing to be, ostracized, right? Because people usually never point down, they only point up. And a lot of people are afraid to go up because once they get there, they're like, oh, people are going to call me a fraud or someone's going to say I'm not doing it. No, you don't have to use a bunch of difficult. You just have to know what you're trying to accomplish, right? The process of your brand business with AI. And Expert Marketly, I wouldn't say it's simple, but for it to all be in one place and for you to be able to get help and ask questions, That is the blessing. I say simple is because it's like the ability to be, you're like Picasso, and that Picasso painting, you can just paint with AI in Expert Marketly. Just paint, just paint, right? And being able to paint your business around you, you start to separate yourself from all the other people in your space. A lot of times people have a hard time separating themselves from all the people in their space because they're just doing what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is doing that. So that's why I do it. Everybody else is doing that. That's why I do it. It's better to be different than it is to be the highest same person. Right? It's easier to be slightly different than it is to try to go into a marketplace and be the high end, all be position that you need. Rather use a few softwares, right? So let's talk about this, right? So first of all businesses need traffic. They need to convert them into something, and they need to sell them something after. And that is the core of your business. So in the core of this, putting it out on Expert Marketly, you need traffic. So you need to be able to put the social media out on platforms. Now, how do you use AI to get those stuff? You need to go over here. Use Opus. Very simple software. It can cut up and chop up all your content, need it. And you can put that into a system. Then you use this. I use this for YouTube automations, right? I use this for YouTube quality, reflect vision. Now, here's why I use this, and here's what I'll tell you. Here's why I use this instead of just using other platforms. I have something else I use as well. But this usually gives Riverside software, once you like jump into the video, it usually, let's show you how to do it now, which I haven't done it. So I'm going to generate. So basically I'm going to generate notes, and you can also generate, a magic audio that you could just download the audio version of it. So if someone's just listening to you in the car or listening to you somewhere else. But so I'm going to generate, everything I think we talked about. And in this context of the things that we're going to talk about, what this does, it's mostly focusing on what you're actually getting from this video, right? Which is important. What you're getting from this video. And then from there, using Opus Click is telling you viral ability, like hooks or clips, and being able to connect the dots and make something clap to make a hook a little bit more snatchy of the person, right? So you got to really think about even the hooks that you use in a possible podcast. That's pretty amazing that you could possibly start to implement over time. You could really get to that next level. So let's go. If you're watching it, please give me a thumbs up. Help a brother out. Put him in the system. Help me go up in the algorithm. If you have not given me a thumbs up, I don't know why. I guess I'm just trying to give all the game I got. Let's go. And so if you're in this, you can ask questions right now as well. You can hit me up, ask any questions you need. So if you're watching this, you can watch any questions you need, whatever niche you're in. That really helps me teach you guys more, right? Like you're coming on this live, you're in a niche, you want to learn how to use AI simply, you want to 10x your content. Tell me what you do, tell me what you're about, and I will come in here and help you out as much as possible. Unlike me, I'm not just trying to talk at people. I'm trying to be the internet's #1 live coach in the business. I'm not even joking. Right? Like get on live, learn some things, execute it, right? If you end up using my software Expert Marketly, you'll get to work with me and my team and help you grow your business the way that you can implement AI and artificial intelligence and automation on the back end is so powerful. And most systems aren't tailored to the individual. They're tailored to, what I call the business structure. And that, what I call most systems keep you mediocre. A bunch of softwares you have to use, you don't understand what's putting you forward. It keeps you mediocre, but it keeps you strong enough and in a business long enough to make your bosses rich, no joke, to make your underlining rich, right? You can get money, but you get rich by being that unique leader and having that personal brand, and that personal brand comes with absolutely implementing the process. I wonder if it's showing ads. Maybe I should turn ads off next time I go live. I think that's what's hitting people in and out. They're having to watch these lives, and then they're like, yo, let's get it. But so here's my true reality, though. So it depends on what you guys are trying to do. If you want, you can comment down below. Like I said, ask any questions. Tell me what niche you're in. I have this guy who was a yoga niche that we just used. He ended up getting into another studio that he wanted to get into because, like I told him, when you bring customers, when you bring your own brand into business, you can get into other places easy. So let's say don't complicate it. Simplify it. I always say getting into AI as an AI consultant. I think sometimes you just got to know what you're trying to accomplish. And most of the time, people are trying to accomplish getting a little bit of money into their business model or growing their brand so they can attract more customers into their business model. Growing their personal brand so that they can attract brands into their business, right? So imagine when you like micro influencers and stuff like that are able to make money on deals and stuff like that. It's because they're actually just really out there, right? Imagine having 100,000 followers across multiple platforms. It's actually very easy when you actually distribute it right. When you So, like I said in the chat, if anybody wants to pop in and get on a strategy call with me, you want to possibly get access to my software to be able to use it for your brand or business and really start to grow it. Um, it can really save you thousands of dollars worth of employees. Thousands of dollars worth of employees. I'm telling you. I watched it multiple times. Giving business owners their ownership back is very, very important. And being a SaaS business owner on my side, marketing people and teaching them how to put this content out and stuff like that, and teaching them how to use AI to be way better off than you were before, and then to start to upgrade slowly. Like, yeah, my camera on this one is really, really good. And like I said, if you guys don't know me, I made my first multiple six-figure business profitable off of a basic webcam, just really helping and talking to people. And if you can do that, in whatever business it is, genuine help, talk to people, get to know people, use AI to triple X the community, the conversation around the social media platforms, good nuggets. You got to ask questions to get good nuggets out of people. And so in that space, you can use artificial intelligence to do get the top questions asked on podcasts that go viral, right? Like those things, I think people don't even think about the basic questions. And getting to know someone on a podcast, what are those top questions to be able to do that? Yeah. So either way, 10xing the amount of content you put out, right? So this is all based off of how one video and distribution ability, right, has created me almost 30. This is at the very top. It tells you. Oh no, they named it something else. I think it's like 37 videos, 34 videos. So one piece of content, about an hour and 14 minutes, 15 minutes, yielded us around 34 videos just on this software. Then I took that and I uploaded it on here because I wanted to get, the takeaways, keywords, topics and titles. And let's go back to this. And then this also created me another 13 clips from the conversation, all long, one in them clips, 1 minute long. So just imagine that. Like that was 1 hour and a half of my time. I have about a month worth of posts I could post from this one video. So imagine you did like 3 or 4 of those in the beginning stages of your business when you were already going to have to get to know someone, really lay out what their goals are, all these things that you have to do. Of course, if you're in finances, you don't release everything on social media and you don't, tape it all. But what you should do is really think about um, what it looks like to be in the business and to take care of it. So yeah, like I said, comment down below. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't. Trying to give more and more game. If you have any questions, comment down below. That's how I'm here to help and educate. And I promise you, if you follow this page, your business will thrive with using AI, or you'll start to learn how to make money using AI. I promise you. Because if you ask questions, I will answer them. And I promise you one thing, that I'm giving the gold of everything I have and everything I've built in multiple six-figure businesses and what that looks like, and how losing everything changed my whole perspective of ownership and what that looks like in partnership, and running up the numbers, making a great network, and really building another business. It's spectacular. Let's go. Y'all gotta be excited for life. Honestly, I'll tell you that is like I want you to think about how in an hour, within 3 hours, you could create a podcast, download a podcast, create clips and videos, upload them into a software, and start putting them out within a 3 hour period. What are the 3 hour period using artificial intelligence? 3 hours. 3 hours. Bro, and then for that, you can pay an outsourcing company like me to do that. To get you the person in the job, you just run the systems, right? And then we have like levels of the podcast where we actually help you get guests on your podcast. Deuce, bro. It was good talking to you, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for having here. Thanks for asking questions. I don't know if you're still watching. Thank you for everything. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for getting engaged. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. So yeah, the first thing I would say is that to 10x your content, you start from where you're starting, what you're trying to do, all the way down the line to what you're trying to win, you know? Man, appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, one of the biggest things that I've learned by using AI is like just this process that I taught you guys today, right? You could charge someone else, $500 to $1,000 a month to take their old content and create clip it and recycle it for them and post it across their platforms. Like it's that simple, right? Like it's that simple. I think people overcomplicate the process to be able to do that, and it's really that simple. But this doing these things, as an editor used to take you the editor business is having a hard time right now with, this, but Opus just updated to be able to actually like download 4K and 3K videos and stuff. I don't know why I said 3K. 180 3K, 2K, 1K. Being able to really go out there and do that as well. And I think it's important for you guys to understand how these platforms work, right? How to use them to their advantage, how to take the content that you already should be creating, use AI to 10x what you're doing for your business. And if you're a marketer, teaching you how to actually create multiple layers of content from any video that you have. It's just next level, guys. You just got to do it. It's next level. Period. It's next level. I got to go to the, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the restroom. I'll catch you guys right back real quick. Run them up, run them up, run them up, baby. I'm back in action. Run them up, run them up, run them up. So yeah, you can ask any questions you guys want at this time. People don't be asking questions. Let's see if I can post it on Facebook as well. All right, create the story on Facebook. Can you put a link in there? Sticker. Oh, I don't see a link photo. Yeah, I guess you can't put a link on it. I thought you could. Because you can't. Well, either way, that's how you got to do it. So you can't even put a link directly on Facebook. I guess since I put it on Facebook already. Yeah, they got me there. All right, well, I'm gonna pop off. Good talking to everybody today. Follow my page, run into the game. I know I went to the bathroom and then into this chat, but I'll probably cut that part out either way. So let's go. Till next time.